Yeah, Close the doors, walk across the corridor. We got something to show you. Media is our repertoire. Fed up with the same news, no channel to use. Cruise control mentalities, here we offer you. We gon' show you a new way. The content, it never strays from positive and uplifting. Once a week, the scope gifted. With the presence of your eyes, what a distraction. Beautiful to soul, especially in action. This year, not ration. Came in abundance. Films like in Sundance, tech like the pop art. Tachi Queen, you are Curtis, a beast heart. You must carry, cause MCs they all vary. And seldom do they motivate. World full of hate. We serve a hope on a plate across different platforms. Let's hear a buffet, hydration like Boucher. Don't focus on a day, we always here for you. MediaScope when you emotionally broke. Settled in our knowledge and conversations, go make them yours. What we run is Olympic, now your hands on the torch. Take it easy like Sundays on the porch. MediaScope when you emotionally broke. Settle in our knowledge and conversations, go make them yours. What we run is Olympic, now your hands on the torch. Take it easy like Sundays on the porch. Now you award winner with no award tours. This culture meets the art. Podcast with the heart and essence of the growth. The power's in the people. Without you, we ain't equal. What we lack is ego. We're back now, so here we go. Run the show like Arsenio. Episodic, our rituals, minds change through visual. Representation of our nation and its differences. Some explanation of our uniqueness and innocence. Mass media's intention is to desensitize. We raise the wise and knowledge is power. Without it, we turn coward and proud of a known product. Like we could take it with us. I wish the greats were still alive and here with us, but it is what it is. We're left here to share our gift, and that's precisely what we'll do with it. Shape shift and fluidly, we can pass this test and still in our unity, elevating through stress. Yes, MediaScope when you emotionally broke. Settle in our knowledge and conversations, go make them yours. What we run is Olympic, now your hands on the torch. Take it easy like Sundays on the porch. MediaScope when you emotionally broke. Settle in our knowledge and conversations, go make them yours. What we run is Olympic, now your hands on the torch. Take it easy like Sundays on the porch. Yeah. It's up to you. You got the torch now. MediaScope. We here for you, and you. We got it all. Tech, pop, music.
What is going on in the world? Ladies and gentlemen, this is MediaScope. We are all things media, tech, and pop culture. Every Wednesday, we are here descending upon you with the news, media, tech, and pop culture news that you can use. Who am I, you ask? Let me tell you. My name is Tachi. I am a media professor, filmmaker, media content producer, also a journalist. And we have some folks that are here already. Dr. Ross is here. Dr. Tawana has joined us. Thank you for being here, Dr. Tawana. And in addition to you and all the other people that will be joining us soon, it's also a one, MC Curtis.
Hey, what's happening? How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing okay. A little stuffy.
Stuffy.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear how that happened. But hey, Nadine, how are you? Yeah. How did that happen? What's that about?
No, that's funny. No, it's just hot as heck here in Houston. It's like, I think earlier I was out, it was 106 and, and I don't know what the humidity
degrees Fahrenheit?
Yes. Degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I think when I was driving earlier, it said 91 on the thing. So that's hot because it usually doesn't it gets hot here because it's warm all the time. But like how you all have 100 degrees, that's not something that happens here because of the ocean. So ocean kind of cools it down. But when I lived in DC, 100-degree days in the summer were common.
Yeah. I checked in with family And in Chicago, they were saying it's like been 97 degrees.
That's
Oh,
Chicago for you.
uh, Dr. Tawana, she's in Chicago as well, right? I'm not.
That's right. You are in Chicago. All right. And Nadine also says, "Hey to you, Curtis.
Hey, hey, what's happening?
You sound very enthusiastic. It's stuffy. You mean stuffy in your house?
No, no, stuffy in my head, like sinuses.
Is that what was wrong last week?" It had to be
No,
because
I don't know
there
what's.
was no other excuse for the debauchery that took place and the answers last week. So it must have been hot last week too.
Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah.
Okay, so stuffy in your head. I'll give you a little bit of a pass because of that.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Mm. Great. Well, as long as everything is good in the world, I'm good. You all are good. Let's not prolong anymore. Let me have the intro for the media segment, please. And could I have photo one, please, if you please? So, you sound like you're about to say something. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, hang on one second here.
Okay.
This our the platform we're working with here. It does some strange stuff sometimes.
Is it the stuffy head? Tell the truth.
Yeah, it's kind of the stuffy kind of stuff.
Well, okay. If it's as we're waiting for MC Curtis to get it all in, let's talk a little bit about.
There we
There
go.
you go, Mo of the Neek,
Oh Lord.
Monique. She's your favorite. All right. Well, why is she the news? Yeah, no, there's not another feud with DL Hughley, in case any of you were wondering. It's not that. And before we get to that, let me say hey to my friend Jay. How are you? And Nadine says that they've been getting rain and close to flood stage on the Columbian River. Wow.
Oh, where's Nadine at? Where's she located?
Don't get me to lying. Nadine, if you would like to put where you're from, you can. But I know you're out west somewhere. So whenever they get rain in out west, especially in drier areas of California, it's always a thing because flooding. The ground is not used to that, so it just gets saturated and mudslides and all sorts of things. So hopefully that subsides for you soon. Oh, she's in Washington, Vancouver, Washington.
Okay.
So
Yes.
Pacific Northwest. Okay.
Gotcha.
Quite rainy out there. So
Absolutely.
hoping it subsides for you in a little bit. So, all right, let's talk about Monique. Look at her smiling all proudly. And she's probably smiling because there's a settlement that has been reached in her case. No, not the DL Hughley. Remember when she was urging all of us to boycott Netflix because she got a lowball offer for a comedy special? $500,000 they were going to pay her for a 1-hour comedy special when they were paying others several million. So remember, she took to the mic and said, I'm urging all of it. She was just like this. I'm urging all of you to boycott with me. Okay. I don't know how effective that was, but in any case, that's what she did. Well, apparently now there is a settlement in the discrimination lawsuit with Netflix over that special. So if you remember, it was 2019 when she was offered that, and she went on this whole thing, and there was actually litigation. I don't know if you all knew that there was a court case dealing with this.
Really?
And that I wasn't either until I thought it was just the you're gonna pay,
Right.
and apparently
Exactly.
they are paying. Apparently they are paying. So Netflix has not responded, according to the Wrap, for a comment saying that at the time of the lawsuit filing, they intended to fight it in court. This is what they said in 2019. We care deeply about inclusion, equity, and diversity, and take any accusations of discrimination very seriously. We believe our opening offer to Monique was fair. That's why we will be fighting this in a lawsuit. We're fighting this lawsuit. So originally, this lawsuit listed several comedians and their Netflix salaries, suggesting that she was offered less because she's a Black woman. So according to her, this is what happened. Netflix reportedly offered or paid Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, Ellen DeGeneres, and Ricky Gervais 40 times more per show than it offered Monique, and offered Amy Schumer 26 times more per show than Monique. In short, Netflix's offer to Monique perpetuates the drastic wage gap forced upon Black women in the American workforce. Well, not anymore. So there's actually another pay equity thing that I'm going to be reporting on. But yeah.
So, do we have what the settlement is, or is it undisclosed, or?
Undisclosed. We don't know the terms.
Wow.
But if I know Monique, if I know Monique like I know Monique, I'm sure she will come on and share.
I know,
she
right?
doesn't keep silent. I'm sure. Because to be honest, if we were talking about the whole DL Hughley feud, for those of you who don't know, DL Hughley is another comedian, and they were on a show together. There was some wahala as to whether who was supposed to be the headliner. And so, of course, as usual, Monique takes it there. And here's the thing, even if
Absolutely.
you are in the right with some of these things, because you cry wolf every time something happens, and sometimes you're just talking out of nowhere, it feels like, then when something actually does happen, like this actually did turn out for you, but there were people that were like, oh, here she goes again. So I don't know. I'm a firm believer, like, you need to pick your battles. Is everybody the problem?
Do you know that she went as far as to mention his daughter in regards to an
Yes, I
issue
do
that
know
his
that.
daughter was going through?
I do know that in terms of his response to it. So yeah, that was a bridge way too far, and it's
He
things
needs
like
use of
that that
words.
makes people not root for you when you do those things, even when you have a point, even when you are in the right.
Yeah, her and her manager.
Manager slash husband.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing with that. Anyway, so that's what's happening on Monique's front. For anybody who cares, anybody who doesn't think that this is hashtag celebrity problems, I do. So let's see. Jay was not aware that it was actually a case either. Yes, 40 times more according to her. And Jay agrees she's a troublemaker. And see, the thing is, sometimes she has a point. But because you make a big deal out of everything all the time, when you do have a point, nobody sees it. If a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound? That has nothing to do with this. I just wanted to say
Right.
that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I just wanted to say it.
Mhm.
So no one's going to want to hire her. Well, yeah, it's already like pulling teeth right now as it is anyway. So to be honest, since she and her husband manager, she's going to have to make opportunities for herself, which is not necessarily unheard of. You have celebrities that they are, maybe they are not very popular right now or whatever, but there are often celebrities that in order to work, to do things, that's why you have a lot of people producing their own projects and things like that, raising money for and producing their own projects so that they can work and stay visible and be in the public eye, right? So that's not unheard of. But you might work, Monique, if everything wasn't a problem. And this is by no means to belittle, some of the things that she says, because some things are honestly a problem, but everything can't be a problem. Somebody said this. I think it was D.L. Hughley. It's like, at what point is the problem you?
Absolutely. Yeah, I remember him saying that.
Everybody, and it's true. Everybody can't be the problem. It can't be somebody else all the time. If you have a problem with everyone, chances are the common thread is you.
Yeah, it may not even be her manager. It might just be her, period.
Her and the manager.
Yeah,
So when I say you, I'm saying the collective you,
yeah.
that unit, the Wahala unit.
Wow.
WU, woo, Wahala unit.
Absolutely. Well, did you hear what DL said about her, Precious? He said that was her.
That's her. That was her. Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, man.
That wow. So if you haven't seen Precious,
Mm.
it's the type of thing that you watch one time and that's it.
I know that's right.
I have not seen it again since I saw it the first time. And then I had the nerve to read the book. The book was deplorable.
It may not
well
even
written, but it's awful. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say it may not even be part of your black movie collection either.
No. Black or otherwise, I don't want it as part of my collection. And that doesn't mean it wasn't well made. That doesn't mean any of that. It's just the thing that, again, we've had these conversations. There are movies that you have to be in the mood for. I'm never going to be in the mood for that movie again.
That movie was horrible. I'm sorry.
But the book is worse. I'm telling you, the book is worse.
How do you say it? Terrible in DC?
Terrible. DC, Maryland, Virginia, terrible. And speaking of which, my favorite DCite is not here. Sarita Wills, the Queen of Food Truckery, Minister of Libation. She may be off today. So
she ain't off today. Don't even try helping her out.
I can't wait till she gets here. Whether it's today or next week, I'll tell her what you said. Oh, goodness, folks. If you're just joining, welcome to the fold. MediaScope, all things media, tech, and pop culture. We are fun and foolishness all day long with a healthy side of education and information. My name is Tachi, media professor, filmmaker, media content producer, also a journalist. It's you all, the MediaScope Massive, who are the most important part of this, but plus also a one, MC Curtis. MC.
Hey, what's happening, everybody?
What's going on, sir? But let's say hello to everybody who's watching from all these different places. If you are watching us on Facebook Live, thank you. We appreciate you. Welcome to the fold. For those of you watching on YouTube, it is great to see you here. Thank you for watching on YouTube. And today we are on Twitter. I should have told you LinkedIn, but today we're on Twitter. So anyway, even if you are on Twitter, thank you, tweet. Thanks for being here. And for those of you that will be watching and listening, actually, tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Gospel 107.1 FM in Nassau, Bahamas, and the rest of the... Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And that amen ushered in a Patricia A. Murray.
Yes.
Welcome, Patricia.
There is a God.
Not for you. Anyway, not for you, not with that. Oh, goodness. Welcome, Patricia. It's good to see you. By the way, Patricia is the host of Bull City Hangout and Bull City Notes. It is an online publication that also has a daily show Monday through Saturday, I believe. So check her out. She's great. If you live in or around Durham, North Carolina, or even if you don't, yesterday was the coolest show, MC. You've got to go back and watch the replay. She had on a musician who is doing a show in Durham, I believe. He's out of New York City, but he's a percussionist. It was an amazing show.
Okay.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah, so please make sure you all watch it. Please, could you put the name of the musician that you had on? He's played with a lot of greats. He's a great himself. And it was really nice to see that. So please put the name of the musician and go to Pat Murray's account on Facebook and on YouTube. And it's is it under you or is it under Bull City Hangout? Let me know. So great stuff there. All right, could I have photo 2, please? Let's be moving to the right. Squid Game, or Gaming of the Squid. You haven't heard me mention Squid Game in a minute, except to tell you that it was renewed for a second season. Is anybody surprised? Are you surprised, MC?
Not at all. Not at all.
Such a juggernaut. Of course, before the season, look, after the second episode and people talking about it the way it was, Netflix execs, I'm sure, were already, all right, get ready for a season 2. They already knew that this was going to fly and fly high. However, not only is it flying high in a season 2, they are going to have a new competition game called Squid Game: The Challenge. I'm scared. 456 players are going to enter. I believe that was probably the number in the original movie, 400, or sorry, the original show, 456 people played, but only one will take home $4.56 million. And
Jeez.
what's going to happen? Yeah. But after you pay taxes, I think you only go home with $2 million by that point.
Right.
Look, taxes will obliterate everything. So if you know you're going to win, you better hurry up and start a business so you can have some kind of shelter, because that money is as good as gone. So because I remember the first Survivor, the prize was $1 million. Back then, it was it's not like that was even a lot of money back then, but it was, a sizable chunk for and it's probably one of the few game shows that gave a prize of $1 million, right? So it was $1 million, but the guy who won the first one, he was like a chef. He doesn't have that million anymore. He ran out of it quite quickly because they gave him that ugly Pontiac. You remember the Pontiac truck it was ugly and had a funny looking hatchback?
Vaguely.
That's a no. Well, we'll call it the funny looking hatchback truck from Pontiac. So he got one of those as a prize. He got $1 million. I don't know what else, but that's as good as gone. And I don't know how long that Pontiac lasted either.
I don't even think they make them anymore. That particular one.
No, they don't. They don't make that truck anymore. So they're going to compete in games inspired by the series with new additions, and they're going to be 10 episodes. Netflix says this: the stakes are high, but in this game, the worst fate is going home empty-handed. We hope. So, anyway, then this is what the VP of Unscripted Netflix VP says. So fans of the drama series are in for a fascinating and unpredictable journey as our 546 real-world contestants navigate the biggest competition series ever, full of tension and twists, with the biggest cash prize at the end. Biggest ever cash prize at the end. Yeah, 4.56 million. I think that is the biggest ever. They're not telling me. So
no.
If you're interested, sorry, go ahead.
Now, are there any do they win any prizes for Squid Games?
The prize is you stay alive.
Oh, okay. I've never seen the Squid Games. Have you actually seen it yet?
I have not seen Squid Game because I'm not a horror. It's not really horror. It's like thriller, suspense, but no, that's not my thing. So based off of what, reporting and understanding what it's supposed to be. So your prize in Squid Game is that you get to live and play another game. Right. That's your prize.
Jeez.
You get to live. Here, you get to live, and I don't know if there are any consolation prizes. I'm sure they will reel the 15 minutes of fame into something else. You better. Because I'm very scared as to what these challenges are going to be. So they're going to be based off. For those of you that are Squid Game fans, you probably know. So tell me, if you have watched Squid Game, what challenges you would like to see in Squid Game The Challenge? And are you going to watch the game show Squid Game The Challenge? And it's going to be on Netflix, remember. If you want to be a cast member, go to squidgamecasting.com. That would be a resounding no for me.
Right. Me too.
So Pat has actually put his name is Khalil Kwame Bell. And yep, he dropped by Bull City Hangout yesterday on the Durham Skywriter Facebook page. Check it out. It was absolutely phenomenal. Kudos to you, Pat. It was phenomenal. I so enjoyed it. And the replay is up, so make sure you check out the replay. Okay, Patricia says, shoot, I'll take $1 million. It doesn't have to last long. Just make sure you spend it well. Well, you know what? The whole thing is when you get money like that, you're supposed to be able to turn it over into several other million. You know what I mean? If you just spend it as like, oh, that'll pay off all my stuff. You've done nothing with this seed money. So use a little bit of it to pay bills, obviously, but then you need to figure out a way, how can I make this grow?
Right.
And maybe you don't want to make it grow. I can't tell you what to do.
Yeah, Pookie and them might want to buy, start selling weed or something.
Good
Yeah,
night, MC Curtis.
for medicinal purposes. Yeah, for
Good
like
night,
that.
Curtis. Good night, Curtis.
What? I mean, everybody else
Uh,
is doing
and see, he keeps going with the trajectory. He just takes it and then goes with it. Well, maybe I should invest instead of sped, says Patricia. Absolutely you should. Absolutely you should. And look who is here. One of our favorite YouTubers, Susan Engels, is here. Welcome to the fold, Susan. Good to have you. Thank you for being here. Dr. Tawana, exactly. Wow, indeed. MC Curtis goes to a level that no one has gone to before all the time. And then I have to okay, now how can I edit this out? For Gospel 107. Thank you, Curtis.
Oh, I forgot about our guest there.
You didn't forget.
You just had to remind me.
You're just being you. In any case, that's what's happening with Squid Game. Again, if you are interested in being top squid, I get what is that what you are if you win Squid Game the challenge, top squid?
Maybe you give you
Well,
like a squid hat, a hat that looks like a squid, and you put it on your head.
who wants that? What I'm interested in is to know if they're going to wear the same costumes, the same tracksuits. That's all you saw for Halloween, by the way. Everybody was characters from Squid Game. Very imaginative.
I know.
Anyway, Derek Jones is here. What is up, Derek? He cleaned it up. He's fine. He's not fine.
I have not seen Derek in eons. Hey man, how's it going?
Yes, let us know how goes it, sir. And guess what? Because Serena Wills is off today. Shut up, Curtis. Because she is off today. Jay has put some tacos in the chat because remember, it is Taco Wednesday. We're never here on Tuesdays, but we are always here on Wednesday. So please go ahead and grab a taco that Jay so graciously has put in. And Susan Engel says she's never watched Squid Game. For those of you who watched Squid Game, did you enjoy it? Has anybody here watched Squid Game? I don't recall anybody saying that. No, Jay says it's not his thing either. Yeah, I'm like, What's up, Jasmine Graham?
I checked the company voicemail.
Okay, what company voicemail?
Our company voicemail. Yeah, precisely. What company voicemail? And I didn't get a notification from Serena that she was going to be late. We're not going to be here at all.
And you just keep it up, Curtis. I'm not even going to get involved because it's between you and Serena. Keep it up. You'll see. You will see. I don't think you want to wrangle with that. So Jasmine is here, says, hey, MediaScope Massive, you see in the tab dress. I am wearing a tab dress. I happen to be in Target, and I said, oh, you don't say. So, and here's the thing. Not to get into fashion or whatever so much, but you guys know I love fashion. A brand that I've been wanting to buy a dress from is Farm Rio. Farm Rio is I think they're actually Brazilian, if I'm not mistaken, but they have the most beautiful, colorful flowers and also like pineapples. There are bananas on things. There's one that has a headdress on it that I really wanted to get. But, Farm Rio was not for the faint of heart price-wise. So I said, I need to look for a Farm Rio dupe, and not that this is a dupe, this is style in of itself, but it kind of has Farm Rio vibes, right? So that's why I got it. So you came right on time, Tabitha Brown. Thank you for this. Anyway, so let's keep going, shall we? Derek says our show nights are the same, but I'm always around. Oh, that's right, because you also have your show on Wednesdays as well. Dr. Tawana, don't mind Curtis. He's just here to cause wahala for the masses. Anyway, off of Squid Game, and so it seems like nobody here is really watching or has watched Squid Game, so we'll just let that go. But if you do want to compete, Squid Game, what is it? SquidGameContest.com. Wait a minute, let me go back. It is SquidGameCasting.com. So check it out if you want to be a contestant. You may not win, but You won't die. Like you would, at least you'll still be alive. Unlike in the show. All right, could I have photo 3, one half of photo 3? Let's talk a little bit about news. MC Curtis, how often do you watch the news?
Rarely. I usually get information from the internet.
Okay, so well, watching the news or getting the news in general. So you usually get it from the internet, right? Okay,
Correct.
so this isn't just watching the news. This is also, so there is a study, and we're not surprised. I don't know why we needed a study to tell us this, but that there is a proportion of individuals who sometimes or often actively avoid the news. Now, do you find that you avoid watching news?
I do. Absolutely. Just maybe even just like looking at the headline, just say, I'm moving on from that one.
It's like Squid Game. I'm moving on from
Yeah.
that one. Exactly. Exactly. So, they found this was part of a larger study in terms of how people gather news, what they do with the news, but they also studied news avoidance. So, in the United States, this is what they found. Those who self-identify on the right are far more likely to avoid news because they think it is untrustworthy or biased. But those on the left are more likely to feel overwhelmed, carry feelings of powerlessness, or worry that the news might create arguments. Aw. So let me tell you. So the first, let's look and see which one you have up first. Okay, so 43%, and you all can see these headline or the things. 43% say that there's too much politics and too much COVID-19, right? A little less COVID-19 now, but before, when they took the study, it was kind of at the height, so it was that. 36% say that the news has a negative effect on their mood. 29% say that they are worn out by the amount of news. And then could I have the next photo, please? Also, 29% say that the news is untrustworthy or biased, as I said earlier. 17% says it leads to arguments that I'd rather avoid. And 16% says there's nothing I could do with the information. So it's like, okay, and then what? There's nothing I can do anyway, so why should I pay attention? And that's interesting because that's that whole feeling of powerlessness. Well, yeah, you could tell me, but I can't do anything about it anyway. That's really a sad state of affairs.
Yeah, well, those people who on January 6th, they saw otherwise.
In terms of being nothing that they could do?
Well, yeah, they wanted to change the outcome of the presidential election. Remember?
I do. Well, and you know what? There are January 6th,
Yeah, it works. Yeah, I get you.
Sixths. That's hard to say. That happen all over the world. That's where coups happen, right? That's how coups come in.
Absolutely.
So that happened. It happens quite a bit. I shouldn't say quite a bit, but it happens around the world. Those types of things happen around the world, trying to, I guess, sway an outcome or whatever. But I don't know. This is interesting. But all of these reasons are reason enough for people to avoid the news. I think the key is then what do we do? Now what? The news is not there to necessarily do anything. It is there to inform you. So then it is up to you what you do with that information. I think sometimes we put too much on the news as you should this, you should. No, the news's job is to inform you in a fair, honest, and balanced way. And then from there, it's up to you what you do with the information. So I think sometimes people put too much pressure on what the function of the news is. Go ahead.
Well, I think on the other side of that, the news actually, in the way that it's delivered, it's like, two people are looking at the same accident. One delivers the information one way to inform us. Another person delivers the information another way, completely different, to say that the Republicans did this or the Democrats did this, that kind of thing. So it's shared with us to alter, to change our mindset, if you will, as well. I think not only to just inform us, but to give us a oftentimes they sway view or opinion in regards to just this is the
But
path
that's
I
not news. That's not
well,
news.
yeah,
That's
but I'm
opinion.
just saying. Well, I mean, but still, it's delivered in the format, the way that it's delivered, or it's the information is the story is told. We still see it as news. You are a professor in this space, so most people don't get it, and but it's still we still see it as a news though.
True, but this is why you as an not you, but the collective you as an individual need to do your research, and that's why I always say check 3 different sources for agreement. And if there's agreement, more than likely this story is probably has some modicum of truth to it. So true again, you're a human. If as journalists you're human, so it's very I understand it's difficult to not inject anything in there, but when you go, say you go to there's an accident, it's clear. Accident happened on the corner of 5th and 19th Street, 5th Avenue and 19th Street. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The people involved were A and B. So there are things that are just fact that you can't change, right? So you
Right,
are right. What can happen is you can embellish or report with the indifferently on the surrounding circumstances of things.
right,
The
absolutely,
victim appeared to be in such and such a state. How do you know? You don't know.
right,
So
right,
the thing is,
right,
honest, real news is facts. You know how they always used to say, stick to the facts. It is. Opinion is something different. And I'm not saying there's no room for informed opinion. There is. I think informed opinion is good. But when you're coming to tell me what is happening in the world, first tell me what is this. And then on my own, I will go and get the informed opinion and this is what we do. We go with what already aligns with what we believe. Is that always the right thing? No, but that's what
absolutely,
happens.
absolutely.
So interesting indeed. All right, let's go to the room really quickly and see if anybody has anything to say about this. So, Susan Engel says, I keep abreast of what's going on, but on my timetable, and that is the important thing when you want it. Jay does not like the world news. Oh, interesting. Let us know why. Claude Diamond, one of my favorites, is here. Welcome, Claude, and says, today's news is not news or facts, it's editorials. You are absolutely right. They are editorializing. And when you are a reporter, your job is not to editorialize. Tell us the facts. However, there is a place for opinion news shows where people can interpret the news or interpret the stories and again, informed opinion. I'm all for that. But I don't want to hear informed opinion on the evening news. Just tell me what is going on so that I know when to run. That's all I need to know. And my Wednesdays just got better because you are here, Claude Diamond. Patricia says many news outlets seem to forget that there's more than COVID and politics out here. That's right. And Patricia is a journalist herself, so she understands that it's really difficult. The job of a journalist is quite difficult. Claude says, I would rather drink MC Borscht than watch the news. So Borscht,
That's right. Me
rather
too.
than watch the news. Okay.
Nothing like
Anyway.
a cold glass of borscht with a light froth.
No, I'll take the news. I'm sorry. I'll take the news for 300, Alex. If it comes between borscht and news, I'll take the news.
With a light froth.
No froth. Please. Susan Engel says you cannot make an informed decision about anything unless you are informed. And here. Claude Diamond says, I get all my news from MediaScope. I'm sorry, Claude. I may be failing you if that's the case. And I've told you all this before. I'm very deliberate in what I report on, which is why I selected media tech and pop culture as my areas to report on, because those are the things that are interesting to me and those are fun. And I'm guessing you're here, so it's interesting to you. I can do hard news. I have done some hard news stories, particularly opinion pieces, but that's not my thing. That is not my thing. Media, tech, pop culture, that's my thing. So here we go. Let's press on, shall we? We have a few more stories, even though we started about 5 minutes late today. Or was it 10?
10.
I don't know. I'll be quiet, MC. Anyway, so we have 10. I owe you 10 minutes, so you will definitely get that back. So off of news, back on to Netflix. Could I have the next photo, please? Which is 4, right?
That's correct.
All right. So photo 4. You know, people will freeload. Did you know that Netflix was hackable? Did anybody know this?
No, I did not.
Netflix indeed is hackable, ladies and gentlemen. So be aware that Netflix can be hacked. If you notice something strange, maybe somebody is watching Stranger Things for free.
Right.
So you may want to be careful about that. You put a lot of your hard-earned dollars into a Netflix subscription. And here's the bigger thing about this. Remember, I said that Netflix is now looking to crack down on people who share passwords, right? So if somebody's hacking your account and watching things, it could be perceived as you sharing a password, even when you didn't.
Right.
And
Right.
you could be charged for that. So that's another reason why there's a seriousness to this. So beware of suspicious activity. So this is according to CNET. If you don't recognize it. So if you have a new style or a new profile, that's a red flag. So when when you sign into Netflix and there's like a new profile there, and if it looks different, that's a red flag. Particularly if you have Netflix and you don't watch it a lot, pay attention. I need to pay attention to mine as well. So we pay attention to our home screen and the profiles. Up to 5 are allowed, right? But if you only have 1 and 2 or more additional ones pop up, then that's the clue that somebody, or first clue that somebody has infiltrated your account. Now, of course, check with the other people that you share passwords with to make sure they did not make changes. But if they didn't, and especially if you're the only one, that could be a clue. So to delete a profile, you have to access Netflix on a web browser. You click on your profile, then icon, and then manage profiles. Select the profile that is not yours and delete.
It'd be like,
So, and then,
who's watching this
sorry.
movie? I said, it'd be like, who's watching this movie? Who in the house watched this?
Exactly. Who put 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea on my thing? Who did that? Who did that? Right? So you want to make sure if it's not something that you would normally watch and it looks like Squid Game, I'm like, no, I did not put Squid Game in my thing,
Right.
never. So, that's what you want to watch out for. Also, you want to make sure that is there a new TV show? You know how you can start watching a show and then you go off and it asks you if you want to continue watching now? If it's Squid Game and you never started watching it, that's a clue. Okay, that maybe you have a hacker around. So also a new genre in your recommendations section. That's a clue. If you notice a fresh because you watched suggestion for a movie or series that you never watched, there could be a takeover again. So ask again first with the people who you share with to make sure it wasn't them, but then go and you can delete extra profiles. So usually Netflix will send out an email alert when it notices a new sign in from a new device, right? And so it will give you information on the type of device, a location, and date of sign in, but it doesn't do it every time someone logs in. So you have to periodically check this information. So again, this is all done. You can't do it from your television. You can do this from a web browser in your Netflix account. Also, review your billing statement, right? You probably have Netflix on auto renewal, so you're not paying attention to these things, and you don't check it because it's the same time each month. But see if you still have the subscription plan that you think you have. Is it more? Is it less? And you didn't mess with it? That could be indications of hacking, okay? So if any of this happens, make sure that you secure your account ASAP by changing your password, right? In case they try to log back in. And don't let it be your mother's maiden name, your father's middle name, the name of the street.
The
Pick
dog's
something.
name.
Yeah, your dog's name. And your dog's name is Fido. No.
Fido
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Fido 1 2 3 4 5. Why not? Anyway. So, if anything, you can also contact Netflix's customer service to help you out.
Yeah, it sounds like Netflix is like cash money. Exactly. Like, who in the
Who left my gate open?
That's funny.
He does sound like that, doesn't he? Doesn't he? Absolutely. So be aware, people, if you are noticing things on your Netflix that it could be a sign of hackerization. That's not a word, but I made it one now. It could be a sign of hackerization and you want to secure your account, immediately change your password well, definitely change your password, but you may want to also contact customer service if need be. All right, folks, if you are just joining us, welcome to the fold. I'm welcoming you to MediaScope. This is all things media, tech, and pop culture. We are here every week at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Facebook Live. Hey, YouTube Live. What's up? Today we're on Twitter. Hey, often we're also on LinkedIn. And we are also tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Gospel 107.1 FM in Nassau, Bahamas, and the rest of the Caribbean. Yes. Indeed. Amen. Thank you.
I'm cleaning my act up.
Oh, you think that's going to be your ticket to heaven, do you? All right, well, keep playing it. Now you want to get right. Okay. Okay. Everybody wants to get right when the apocalypse comes. Oh, goodness. So Susan Engel says this, I check in every month. Also, if I get a notification email wanting me to update my info by going to the website, that gets deleted. There you go. Absolutely. And you know what? There are so many spoof emails too. There may be people that are spoofing Netflix. They're never going to ask for certain information like billing information, password information, any of that via email. They're not going to ask for it. And you can also tell, usually hover over the address in the email. If it didn't come from like Netflix.com, it's probably not from Netflix. And even if it did, go into your account because you're probably going to have that same notification there. So we shouldn't have to be careful because of bad actors, but unfortunately we do. So here we go. Bobby Shadow is here and says, amen. Amen to you too, Bobby Shadow. And Claude Diamond says, let's just bring back Blockbuster Video. Wow, you're going to be waiting for a long time for that one, Claude Diamond. There's one Blockbuster left, and is that one even still left? Wow. Any of the way. Let's go to photo 5, right?
That is correct.
All right. So this is interesting. I found this interesting. This is another study, and it's looking at whether or not there's a representation gap in kid-friendly YouTube videos. We talk about YouTube all the time, right? But we're not often talking about YouTube Kids or kid-friendly videos. So according to new data, 62% of videos on YouTube, right, contain no BIPOC characters at all. So people of color, and the characters of color that are depicted are sometimes relegated to stereotypical portrayals. So this study looked at 254 kids, tweens, and teens about their YouTube watching habits. They also looked into 546 videos watched by kids of below the age of 8. So they found these, and it's interesting that the ones that did include BIPOC characters were 11% more likely to feature bullying or meanness, 19% more likely to feature bad language, and 5% more likely to feature drinking, drugs, or smoking for kids shows. Wow. For kid-friendly, rather. Meanwhile, videos that were watched by teens and tweens included stereotypes 10% of the time, according to the study. So the Common Sense Media was the one who conducted the study, and the CEO was Jim Steyer, and called on YouTube to reevaluate their fundamental systems. He says this: we need a better understanding of how YouTube's algorithm is working when it comes to content and creators of color, and we need to know whether it is inadvertently promoting biased, stereotyped content or doing enough to elevate BIPOC creators. But according to Tube Filter, there's a silver lining. Though some kids are being exposed to racial and ethnic caricatures, those clips aren't necessarily performing well. Common Sense Media actually said that the videos in its sample included stereotypes that had less viewership on average than the ones that did not include those portrayals. So how about just not having them at all?
That sounds like Hollywood, like you just described Hollywood.
It is. You know, this is the thing. I think sometimes we think YouTube and a lot of these other places are so different, and it's not. It is a media company. It is no longer just a repository where you can upload your content. There's advertising. There are creator programs. So they are setting the agendas of who gets pushed forward for their content. Absolutely. But if it's not enough just to push content by underrepresented groups, if you're pushing content that's stereotypical, how is that helpful? Absolutely. It's like the news. What can I do? So, deplorable. Do better, YouTube. Anyway, let's move on. Let me go to the room and see if we have any content. Claude Diamond says programming for children has to let them remain innocent children. They do not need heavy-duty topics. I agree. What we also don't need is backdoor agenda setting by putting certain things in there that reinforce stereotypes of any group. Right? Reinforce stereotypes of women and girls, etc. Sometimes that happens. Look, have you all ever watched some programming like from the 70s and you're like, how the hell did they get away with this?
Right. Exactly.
So some things that are extremely distasteful now were common back then. So you can't do that anymore. But I think for some creators, it is difficult to get out of that because it's so ingrained in us. Let's get out of that, people. Dr. Tawana says, yikes, indeed. Absolutely. Guess who's here? Kami Jamila is here over on the Facebook side. Oh, my goodness. It has been a month of many Sundays. My good friend, Matthew Ward is here. He's driving and listening. Hugs across the Atlantic. Hugs to you in the UK. Matthew Ward is like one of my favorites. Matthew, thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Jay says some cartoons are bad content for kids. Absolutely. They've been doing these studies forever. I remember when I was in the graduate program, that was the big thing, looking at children, television violence and the effect on children, video games and the effect on children. Apparently none of this has had any the studies haven't done anything because these things still go on. But, this has always been a point of contention when it comes to programming or content that is safe for, quote, safe for children. So, Jay has some dessert for you if you're in the mood for an ice cream cone, because in most of the country, it is hot right now. Go ahead and grab yourself an ice cream cone. Look who's here. Sir Exile is also here. It says, nope, the last Blockbuster shut down. Oh, this is the end. Jose, tell us where it was located. Was it? I want to say Alaska or Washington, something like that.
Alaska.
Moment of silence for Blockbuster.
Right.
Patricia says, if you see a Pookie at hotmail.com and it's from Netflix, you know it's not real. Absolutely. Absolutely. Shanice is here and she says, I scream, you scream. We all scream for ice cream. We do, especially MC Curtis. Go ahead and scream, MC.
I'm screaming internally.
That internal scream we can't hear. And Matthew Ward says that's what annoyed me about the Will Smith slap. Hollywood glamorizes violence, yet it attacked Will for a slap. Now that is very interesting. Absolutely, absolutely. How is it okay on one end but not in the other? How would we not expect life to replicate art and vice
Absolutely.
versa? Right? This is a whole other conversation.
Yeah, he
that
could have
we
just
should.
broke down. He could have just broke down on the stage and said, "Look, I do this in the movies all the time," and just been good.
Jasmine, I hope you have something to say to our friend because since Serena is on vacation today, be quiet, MC. I hope that you could take over the role of keeping him in line because he's trying to go wayward today. All right, well, speaking of wayward, that's not wayward, but let's have photo 6, please. Actually, no. I'm going to tell you because we're running out of time. We have 5 minutes left, and I told you I owe you 10 minutes, so we're going to go to that. But let's go to. Could I have the intro for the tech section, please? Great. Photo 8, please. All right. So this is the second. Today has been kind of issue heavy in the show, but kind of like with Monique, Google is actually going to fork out $118 million for allegedly underpaying thousands of women. And that's what you get, Google. So they reached an agreement because there was a class action lawsuit that accused them of underpaying their female employees. Now, they have 15,000, just over 15,000 staff members and 236 job titles that that are involved in this matter. So in addition to the monetary compensation of $118 million, which in my eyes is not enough, but I digress, the company is agreeing to a third-party expert to look into their hiring practices and pay equity structure to help ensure that going forward, women in the firm are not paid less than their male counterparts who perform substantially similar work. So as part of this gender discrimination lawsuit, the plaintiffs alleged that Google had violated California's Equal Pay Act and that the corporation had paid women approximately $16,794 per year less than similarly situated men in base pay, bonus, and stock.
Why do they need a dang on survey to tell them this? I mean, it's just a matter of looking in your documentation, or they just need someone to just come in and a third party to do this. Is that
why don't they do right? That's the thing.
Yeah,
the thing
absolutely.
is, well, this was part of the agreement, right? The thing, you don't want to do right, so now we have to sue you. I
Mhm.
don't know who this benefits by you doing these types of things. Who this
Right.
at all. So here's the thing, and this is why I've said it needs to be more. The lead plaintiff is Kelly Ellis. She's going to get $75,000 in payout. And then the other three named plaintiffs will get $50,000 each. The remaining women will then obtain an average of $5,500 each from the settlement, excluding attorney's fees. This is almost insulting, if you ask
Right.
me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
And they figured that, to settle that would be better than litigating because, usually when people settle, they're like, this is not an admission of guilt. Yes, it is. You are guilty. You just didn't want to go through the legal process to have to prove that you weren't because you are. So what you'll do is that, well, let me set. Now, I'm not an attorney. This is all my opinion, right? Claude Diamond is actually an attorney, so he could probably tell you better. But I think it's despicable. Absolutely despicable. So now you're going to hire a task force, a planning committee, and all of this to do right in the first place. So I'm not clapping for you for doing what you were supposed to do. Google.
Sounds like a big old game, Where's that?
Oh, it is a game. The game of keep away. How long can we do this before we get caught?
Absolutely.
Pay people. Pay people. Pay people. It's absolutely disturbing. All right, let's see. Jasmine asks, will current female employees get a pay increase? It does not say they will. I don't think that was part of the deal. Probably not, because remember, it's a settlement, so they probably came to some agreement, which, you know, people give, or to, they're giving a lot in terms of what the money they could. Because when I heard 118 million, I'm like, that's no money
Right.
for 15,000 people. That's no money.
Yeah, that's a good.
Nobody even made six figures off of this.
Wow.
Go ahead, MC.
No, I was just saying that's a good question, though. Will they get pay increases, though? It's a great question.
It's an excellent question. The article did not say that, but it's a good question. So I'm going to follow up to see if that is part of the deal. Somehow I think not. Claude asks, how can a company with a motto of don't be evil be so dumb? Shanice is channeling her inner Spike Lee and saying, do the right thing. That was a movie. I actually have the sides from that. The storyboards. Yeah, the storyboards and the sides, the script from, I took a master class with Spike Lee, and he gave us all the sides and the storyboards from Do the Right Thing, copies of it, and he signed them. So I have it here somewhere.
Good deal. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a great class, I have to say. Anyway. Jasmine says it's a sin and a shame. Just do right the first. Exactly. And the only reason you did right was because you got caught. And this is why, and here's the thing, I'm convinced this is why so many companies don't want you to talk about salary and like, oh, well, that's private. We don't discuss it. No, because then people will discover what you're actually paying people. Do right. Just do right. I hope you can sleep with yourselves at night. Appalling. All right. It is absolutely appalling. I have two more stories. We've got to do these two. So we've got another tech story and a what the hell is this? Could I have photo 11, please? And we've got a video for you today too. So here's the thing. It is Biggie would have turned 50 this year if he was still alive. The notorious, well, we call him Biggie just like we call P. Diddy Puffy still. Those of us from like New York and that area, he's Biggie. So Biggie, or the notorious B.I.G., would have turned 50 this year, and there are all sorts of celebrations in honor of his 50th. And there is a hologram. What you're seeing now is not just a picture, it's an actual hologram that is uncanny in resemblance to him, and leaving fans in disbelief. It is a 3D recreation produced by Proto to mark what would have been his 50th birthday. And this startup specializes in something called holoportation, which is projecting replicas of people, dead or alive, into the same room as the observer, sometimes even communicating in real time. I'm a little spooked. So they're hyper-realistic images that are beamed into special boxes, also called portals, and can be viewed from various angles. So Puffy happens to be, or Sean P. Diddy Combs, happens to be an advisor to Proto, so he likely had a say in the tribute to this. Can we play the video so people can see how realistic this looks?
Right.
So hopefully we don't get dinged for that little bit of music in there. But did you see how real that looked,
Absolutely.
MC?
The movement, yeah, absolutely.
And if he would have said, "What's up?" I would have run. That was like entirely too real for me.
Right.
Entirely too real. So Jasmine says the hologram is cool, but they got the shoes wrong. Big wore Tim's, not Jay. You're right. He did wear Tim's. I wasn't even looking at that. I'm just looking at how uncannily real it feels. Camille says, somebody check on Lil Kim. She will not be okay. No, it could be very disconcerting for people, I'm sure. I don't know. Would you all want something like this? Not necessarily of a celebrity, but someone like, for example, a loved one. Would you want to recreate them and bring them back in this sense? I would feel a little bit spooked. What about you, MC?
That would be kind of weird, having a picture of your loved one standing at the table, at the head of the table and dinner's prepared.
Where are we going with this, MC?
Well, no, I was just thinking. It's just a thought.
Nobody said anything about tables or dinner being prepared, and I was waiting for you to describe what the dinner was going to be. That's what I was.
No, I was
waiting
just thinking about some kind of weird movie, starring Kathy Bates or something.
Going back to the other story, Comedian Mila says that settlement will only fill up the gas tank once. Exactly. It is awful. And Patricia says if they have to pay their attorneys, will anything be left over? Well, remember, it was a class action suit, so there was a lead set of attorneys, and then everybody else gets a payout. So they didn't all individually get attorneys. Oh, but do you mean the 3 leads? I'm sure attorneys' fees come out of that. So this is an insult at best, if you ask me. Anyway, Jasmine says, mute MC's mic for a bit. I wish I had the power to do so. I really did. The Star Trek holodeck is coming. I believe it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Dr. Tawana is in disbelief as well. MC never fails to amaze me. So I apologize for going a little bit over, but I have to get this one last story in. Those of you that were with me on IG, you'll remember this. Could I have photo 12, please? Today on What the Hell Is This? I had to go back and forth with myself as to whether or not I was actually going to talk about this, just because I hate the idea of critters. But then I said, you all deserve this. You all deserve to know. And I'm here to inform the public. So there's a pest control company in Raleigh, North Carolina that wants to pay you to release 100 cockroaches into your home. Do you wish that your house wasn't so clean? Do you get lonely and wish you had roommates? This may be for you. You could get paid $2,000 for it. I keep wanting to say $200,000, but it's $2,000 for it. So what they'll do is they will release 100 American cockroaches, but they're saying they'll likely be gone or dead by the end of their stay. So Pest Informer is the pest control company. They're planning to pay, as I said, $2,000 to each home owner that agrees to release 100 critters into the abode to test the effectiveness of a pest control treatment. So this is what they say. As technology advances, we're always looking for the newest and greatest way to rid of pests, cockroaches specifically. The study is going to last for a month, and those who don't mind sharing their homes with roach in them can learn. You will get this. So participants have to be homeowners or have written consent from the homeowner. Now let me stop right here. If I am a homeowner and you're renting, why would I say, yeah, sure, go ahead? No.
Let me check with the landlord.
Let me check with the landlord. Who does that? No. So if for some reason you really want to learn, you will go to thepestinformer.com. They have the information on their page if you are interested. And you have to be in the United States, only in America. I'm telling you, only in America. Everybody else is trying to keep pests out.
Do they have more than one location?
I'm assuming so, because you have to be in the US. So I'm assuming they have more than one location. But see, we're laughing, but so far they've gotten thousands of applications.
Really?
This is what they told NBC News. So during the experiment, the exterminator will try about 10 DIY techniques, so you have to help too, using safe and easily accessible material and ingredients. Would you just want me to spray vinegar? No. Mm-mm. So if this treatment is ineffective, the company says it will use traditional options to cure your home of the pests at no cost. But here's the thing. Last month, the New York Times reported that some female cockroaches have evolved to reject the fat and sugar meals that male roaches put out during the courting process, and they've learned to be repelled by some sweet-tasting poisons found in pesticides. So I guess this is an attempt to try and rectify that, but I'm not letting you use my home to experiment.
Yeah. You know, that raises a question for me, though.
Yes, MC.
How many? So if a female cockroach gets pregnant, how many?
That's the $1 million question right there, because these are going to be, they're not going to inspect them, they're
Right.
just going to let them loose. So in that time, yeah, it starts at 100 and it could end up being
Right.
thousands.
that would be that would be horrible.
$2,000 is not enough for the fact that you
Absolutely.
may never be able to get rid of them. Shanice asked, those applicants may already have roaches. You know what? They're like, well, I already have them, so we might as well see if we can. Okay, I see you.
Oh, that's
Uh,
funny.
hey, M. Deanne Niles says roaches can withstand nuclear radiation. Strongest
Jeez.
poison will kill us too, most likely. See, exactly right, exactly right. And Kami Jamila says, I want names and faces of people who signed up. I need to know who to side eye. Me too.
Right. Who's bringing?
Me too.
Who's bringing? What's that? What is it? Who's bringing lunch? You know, who's
Lunch?
bringing?
I would never look anybody. I also need to know who it is, so I know never to dine at your house
Absolutely,
ever.
absolutely.
Susan says maybe sterile females. Okay, they didn't say that. That could be a possibility, but that could be a possibility. They did not say that. So we're within our rights for our imagination to fly, thinking that it could be thousands by the time you're done. But because they did not say that,
You know,
I would hope. Go ahead.
there was actually a movie similar to this here years ago. And I cannot remember the name of the actor. Uh, he would uh, he would rent an apartment, and he would have these
Oh,
cockroaches in a jar.
are you? Oh, it's a
Well,
movie. Not okay. Are
it's
you talking about there was a show? Was it MTV or something called Bob's Apartment or Stan's Apartment or something like that? And he
no,
had
this was an actual movie.
okay, not
And
that.
he was
Okay, it was actual
well known
movie. All
actor. I
right.
can't remember his name. But yeah, he would have these cockroaches in a jar. And he's renting an apartment, and so when it came time to pay his rent, he would say that he has a bug issue. And then so the landlord would come in and try to fix the situation, but yet he's released these cockroaches, and now the place is infested, and now he's out of he's out. He doesn't have to pay rent and all that stuff. So I
If
cannot.
people could only use their powers for good, that
Right,
is too much
absolutely.
work. That
Yeah, it
is
is.
too much work. And stop giving people ideas, MC. It's
Well, no, it was a
just,
movie.
no, I know. I'm just saying. Jasmine says, then you'll wake up. Oh, gosh.
That would
No,
be horrible.
thank you. No, thank you. Shanice, potluck at work, that's already a no for me. Let me
Yes.
find out you signed up for this program. You're banned for life. And she said it's still a hard no. Exactly. Whether it's sterile females or not, who knows? In all this time, the treatments could make the males evolve and they could take the role. So no,
Right.
no, thank
But
you.
wait a moment. But wait a minute. The females are sterile, so they can't get pregnant.
Who's saying that? You?
No, I'm just saying this is what the company would say.
Oh, that's what the company is saying. Yeah,
Yeah, wait
until
a
they
minute.
evolve to withstand nuclear attack, and then this just is a bad program to me all the way around.
Yeah.
If anybody here is interested in that, as I said, I gave the website, but please let me know that you signed up so I know never to shake your hand or to come and dine with you, because that's just, why would you voluntarily do that?
We
It
need
may
a
not
picture.
even work.
We need a picture of a cockroach with a helmet on or something.
Here's something else I thought about. So even if and we're going to go on this, even if it is sterile females, that doesn't mean there are not ones outside that are not sterile that could
Absolutely.
find their
Yes.
way inside.
hmm
One to grow on.
Absolutely. She's knocking down the door to get in.
But and here's my thing: if it was $200,000, I could see people. But how do you have thousands of applications and you're only offering $2,000?
I wonder if these people are even working. Some of those people who are working.
Well, this is not going to solve their woes.
Well, Bill, you know, you're not working, honey. Go ahead and.
And now you're going to have to throw out all the food because of all the pests. Congratulations, you made a great decision. You know what? It's time to end the show because whoever signs up, and I'm not going to put it on the company, they're just offering a service and people are signing up. So those of you who have signed up, I would like to call you the Bamas of the week, and I think I will. In the words of Huggy Lowdown, you are the Bamas of the week.
And guess what? Don't even try it. For some of our viewers, if we haven't seen you in a while, we're assuming you didn't sign up, that you signed up. So don't even try it.
You worry about yourself, MC. You don't sign up. Worry about yourself.
Oh, I haven't seen you in a while.
Shanice says this, MC, if you want the $2,000, just say that.
She busted me. I'm busted.
Cold busted. All right. Go ahead.
That's why I needed to find out if they had more than one location. So
exactly. See, tell the truth and shame the devil. Thank you for being here, everyone. Let's let you go. You have put up with us long enough, but we really certainly appreciate you being here. Any final words, MC? Final words of sense.
Great show. Great show.
Love you for watching. Bid you adieu. You guys, myself, and these roaches, please let us all exit stage left. Until next week, cheers.
Yeah, close the doors, walk across the corridor. We got something to show you. Media